Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're feeling a bit of whiplash from the daily barrage of AI headlines, trust me, you are not alone. Today, we're going to unpack the exact playbook you need to future-proof your career. The professional world is going through a massive tectonic shift right now, but instead of stressing out about AI replacing you, we're going to completely flip that mindset. By the end of our time together, you'll have a clear framework to step out of that fear zone and become a highly empowered AI orchestrator. Okay, let's dive right in. To really grasp the urgency of this kind of economic self-defense, we just have to look at the data. McKinsey reported a staggering 7-fold increase in the demand for AI fluency in job postings. And get this, that happened between just 2022 and 2024. That is an explosive trend. It basically tells us that interacting effectively with AI isn't just some niche, nerdy tech skill anymore. It's a core professional requirement, literally as basic as knowing how to write an email or build a spreadsheet. We're going to break down this transformation into 5 quick parts. First, the AI era paradigm. Then, mastering cognitive skills, uniquely human capabilities, leadership under pressure, and finally, becoming an AI orchestrator.
All right, part 1, the AI era paradigm, moving from execution to orchestration. Basically, the old way of relying entirely on raw technical output, that is officially a thing of the past.
Think about the sheer scale of the opportunity here. The World Economic Forum is projecting that 170 million new jobs will stem directly from AI augmentation. Augmentation is the absolutely crucial word there. The real competitive edge doesn't belong to the AI itself. It belongs to the professional who can combine sharp human judgment with incredible AI leverage. Your role is fundamentally shifting away from being a task executor to becoming a high-level orchestrator.
And that brings us to part 2. Mastering cognitive skills as your foundation of adaptability. These are domain-agnostic capabilities, which is just a fancy way of saying they transfer across every single field and will compound over your entire career.
The absolute powerhouse skill here is learnability. Why? Well, consider the fact that a course literally called Learning How to Learn from UC San Diego is the most popular open online course ever created. We're talking 2.7 million learners. Rapidly reskilling yourself is no longer optional. It's your biggest compounding career asset. To get good at this, the research says you need to identify your dominant learning style, use spaced repetition, and try teaching what you just learned to someone else within 48 hours to really lock it in.
Another one you absolutely can't ignore is financial literacy. When you realize that around 35 to 40% of retirement wealth inequality comes straight down to gaps in financial knowledge, it's pretty sobering. Understanding concepts like compound interest is basically essential economic self-defense for us all. The research shows that tracking your net worth and understanding a basic profit and loss statement aren't just things for your accountant to worry about. They are critical decision-making tools for any high-level professional.
But as these algorithms get better and better at taking over our cognitive, pattern-based, and analytical workflows, we really have to pause and ask ourselves a huge question about our own future. What is actually left for us?
Well, the answer brings us to part 3, uniquely human capabilities, or what we call the empathy edge. It's kind of the great irony of the AI era, right? In the middle of a massive tech revolution, your most valuable professional assets aren't technical at all. They are empathy, patience, and vulnerability.
Take conflict resolution. McKinsey actually puts this right at the top of their most AI-resistant capabilities list. And it makes total sense because it relies on deeply human contextual empathy and making creative trade-offs that machines simply can't replicate. A machine doesn't know how to separate a person's emotions from the raw problem, and it definitely can't read between the lines to figure out what someone says they want versus why they actually want it.
So to master these human elements, you've got to become a real student of human behavior. You have to learn how to observe team dynamics before just jumping in to fix a problem. A huge part of this is learning the difference between people's stated preferences, which is what they tell you they want, and the revealed preferences, which is how they actually behave when the pressure's on. Because when you think about it, workplace culture is really just behavior at scale.
And you can take all that behavioral awareness straight into how you give feedback by using what's called the SBI model. That stands for situation, behavior, and impact. Bad feedback is literally the #1 reason top performers quit. To fix that, you have to clearly define the specific situation, the exact observable behavior, and the actual resulting impact. You have to separate intent from impact. Telling someone, well, you meant well, is totally irrelevant to the actual effect their actions had on the rest of the team.
which smoothly transitions us into Part 4, Leadership Under Pressure, where your character actually becomes your strategy. We're talking about the foundational traits that guarantee success over the long haul.
Behavioral economics tells us that patience is an absolute game changer. Being able to put off immediate rewards predicts your long-term career outcome way better than raw speed. But this means you have to actively separate a healthy urgency, the drive to deliver great quality work, from an unhealthy impatience. Unhealthy impatience is usually just driven by ego or the trap of comparing yourself to everyone else on LinkedIn. The truly great leaders flip the script and ask, what decision do I make right now if my horizon is 10 years instead of 10 months?
All right, so you've fortified your mental models, leveled up your people skills, and built some leadership resilience. Now we arrive at our final section, Part 5, Becoming an AI Orchestrator Through Technical Execution. Working technically with AI is not magic. It's a completely learnable skill. Mastering things like advanced prompting or vibe coding, which is really just a fun way of saying you're guiding the AI's creative tone, comes down to giving incredibly rich context up front. You need to define the exact role, the goal, and the constraints for the AI every single time. Treat your first prompt like a hypothesis, not a rigid command, so you can iterate fast. And most importantly, you have to fiercely verify the logic of what it gives you back. AI can and absolutely will be confidently wrong. You are the final judge.
So how do we make all of this actionable? To help you out, we pulled together this curated matrix of learning resources straight from the research. It covers all the pillars we just talked about. You can literally start today with amazing free beginner courses like Andrew Ng's AI for Everyone or Yale's Science of Well-Being. From there, you can level all the way up to some brilliant strategic books by folks like Brené Brown and Anders Ericsson. The roadmap is right there waiting for you. Look, the rules of the modern workplace have been completely rewritten. The future absolutely belongs to the people who can blend the raw horsepower of artificial intelligence with real human empathy, razor-sharp reasoning, and bulletproof character. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Are you going to let AI passively dictate your limitations? Or are you going to step up, master these human skills, and actively orchestrate your own future? The choice is entirely up to you. Keep learning, keep orchestrating, and we'll catch you next time.